The Avengers movie has finally came out. It's the moment we've all been waiting for ever since the first Marvel comic book came out back in 1939. It was like, sure, this little picture book is cool and all, but when are all these badass superheroes gonna team up and make a movie directed by that guy who created Buffy the Vampire Slayer? The Avengers is a great concept because we get to see all our favorite superheroes battle together. Hawkeye, Black Widow, that guy who doesn't like motherfucking snakes on motherfucking planes, but with an eye patch, and then some other guys. My personal favorite superhero is Batman. Well, technically Robin, because I have low self-esteem, so it seemed much more realistic of a portrayal for me to ascribe to. I realize I'm using the word ascribed wrong, but I like the way it sounds. I also realize that Batman isn't in the Avengers, which I'm grateful for because I really hate Christian Bale. It's nothing personal. He's been in tons of great movies, he's one of the best actors of our time, so it has nothing to do with his performance abilities. So it's actually entirely personal. But I don't want to get into it. Okay, I'm gonna get into it. So me and Christian were out to dinner one night at a very fancy restaurant, and he said, "I'll pick up the check and you can leave the tip." So I thought, fair enough, and left a 15% tip, on a very expensive bill, mind you. And he looks at me and he's like, "What the fuck? Are you some sort of tipping amateur?" And I'm like, "Amateur? I ain't no amateur." And he's like, 15%? You gotta leave 50%. I have a reputation to uphold. 50%, I said. That's ridiculous. Plus, the service was horrible. She never refilled my water once. And he says, "You never took a drink." And I said, "But still, she could have accounted for evaporation." And he says, "You're crazy, and the food was amazing." And I said, "She didn't cook the food. She just brought the food to us. What you should do is go tip the chef." And he said, "Oh sure, his immigrant ass probably didn't even pay taxes. He should be deported to Mexico." And I said, "Hey, that's racist. He's Colombian. He should be deported to Colombia." And he says, "Fair point." And I said, "This is the worst first date I've ever been on." And then we go to a nearby park and fuck on the kid slide, and never see each other again. So you can imagine how annoying it is that there's this amazing Dark Knight series with my favorite childhood superhero in it, and I can't enjoy it because Christian Bale's dumb, yet amazingly sculpted ass is in it. But anyway, the Avengers were we talking about? Obviously, The Avengers has an amazing cast, but what really got me excited was seeing that Joss Whedon was going to direct it. Whedon is known from the aforementioned The Avengers movie, but also the aforementioned Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and things like Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse, The Cabin in the Woods, but what he's most undoubtedly known from is directing the business school episode of The Office. The episode starts off with Michael Scott telling the office that he's going to be honored at Ryan's business school. Cut to Ryan with a confessional to the camera saying that if he brings his boss to class, it will bump up his grade a full letter. Then semi-nervously questioning that he'd be stupid not to do it. Cut to Michael relating bosses to teachers and then talking about the coolest teacher he had who later slept with many students, which ruined 8th grade for Michael. Then the theme song starts. Da da, I can't sing any more of this song or I could get sued by NBC and that would be very bad for me and my bank account because it has no funds in it. So I'm gonna stop singing the song right now. Now Michael's in the car with Ryan. Michael and Pam are hugging. I've got tears running down my eyes. Pam gets a slightly scared look on her face and asks if Michael has something in his pocket. Michael says chunky. Pam backs away. Michael pulls a candy bar out of his pocket. Great callback joke. Michael asks if she wants half. Pam says no thanks. And there you have one of the greatest episodes of television ever.